Let's see how you can reduce a very large data set into a sample size. That is, picking out sample of the data from the original table and creating a new table where just few of the data will be. Then you can use the sample data to run your full analysis code, debug errors, check each part of your code, each function, to see if the result you are expecting is what you get. Because once you can run that sample data set, you can easily see the full table and you can see the result you are expecting. For example, if you are deleting non-English app, with the few non-English app in the sample table, once you run the non-English module on that sample data set, you can quickly see the results displayed on the table of the sample data set. You can see the result displayed and you can see, okay, the non-English app has already been deleted from this table. So you know this function you've written is actually giving you the result that you want.
So now we'll be looking at how to get a sample data from the whole data set and analyze it and get the same result you will get while executing the main data set. Because as I said earlier, if you are having 100,000 column, millions of rows, it will be difficult to execute it on your phone. And what is the advantage of using a phone? The comfort. I can lie down and I'm coding, analyzing my data and get my result. Then once you get your result, then you can decide to now move it to your laptop. All you just need to do is change the name here. You change the name, yes, to the name of the file that you have the sample data, that you have the original data. For you to execute the sample data, you change the name of the file here to the sample data file and do all your execution, testing, and everything. Then when you finish everything and you move it to your laptop, just put the correct name of the original file and run your code and you will get your result there. The advantage of running with the sample data on your phone is it's easy for you to debug error. So once there's error, it's easy to debug it, because when you are dealing with hundreds of thousands of rows, it will be slow to present your result. And when you want to find where there's an error in your code, it's going to be taking so much time and dragging so much resources from your phone. That is one of the advantages. So follow me as I explain how you do it, and I will explain in details how the result comes out. I will teach you how to debug. When there's an error, you know, okay, this is where to place a print statement so I can see what is in this variable. Then I can know how to correct the error. In the original data set, you can see the name Apple Store. Now take a look at the track name column. You can see the names up to the 8th one. It stops at PayPal, is Shanghai PayPal. Now let's go to the sample data file that I created. You can see Shanghai PayPal. So I selected the first 8 apps, the whole row, the first 8 row. I copied it and put it in a new file, and I named the file Apple Store Parts. Then I modified these other ones to have the different unique unique issues that we are to deal with in the data set. First and foremost, what is the first issue we want to deal with in the data set? We want to delete duplicates. So the first thing I had to do, I had to duplicate at least a app, and I decided to duplicate Bible. So I duplicated Bible. I even tripled it, so to make sure my code is working very well. So the first thing we did when we were analyzing our data was to delete duplicate. So I duplicated the app. Then take note, we did not just delete duplicate, but we deleted duplicate based on the rating. So it means the rating of these 3 Bibles have to be different. There has to be the highest and the lowest. So I had to go to the rating and modify the rating. Take note of the number is on number 7, number 10, and number 15. So let's shift it number 7, Look at the rating of number 7, number 10, and number 15. So it's easy for you to take note of what is there. So we can see the number 10 Bible has the highest rating. What was the next thing we had to do in the data? We had to remove the non-English app. So I had to put an app, just form a Chinese name. I went online, I got Chinese words and just put it together. And that is what we have here. Take note, in the original data set, which is this, when you go through it, we have a Chinese app. Look at it with 3 characters. So if the Chinese app was located in the 6,000th row, you couldn't have seen it. So it will be stressful to say you want to go and look for it and copy that rule and come and put. So just manipulate it. So I put this as the Chinese app, or Japan, whatever is the name. Then the rating is there and so on. Okay, it's under music. That is not really important. So we have taken care of the first challenge, which is duplicate and highest rating. The second one is non-English app, which we've taken care of by this. And the third one is free and non-free. We can see here, we have the non-free. Those are the ones that have the numbers, that 9.9, and the free is the one that has 0. From the original data set, we can see the price here. This is the price. You can see this one is 2 decimal place, which is the same thing as this. So that is why when we're writing our code, we said 0.00. So if it is 0.00, it means it's a free app. So we have to take cognizance of this. So that is what we have in this. Then also I had to add another game, Super Mario, as games with 10,000, so that we can take cognizance of the app gen with games. Now let's look at the app gen, so we can have free games and non-free games. Now let's look at the ones that have the price. We have this, that is the calculator, the Shanghai, and we have the premium pack. And let's look at the where it is located. Their games, look at it, games. So I had to put a game that is also free with a higher rating, so that we can take cognizance of the fact that, oh, we have a free game, and we should make sure that that free game, the rating that is coming out for that free game, is the highest rating for that free game. So that's why I put 2 Super Mario. They are both free, so they will be under the free app, and I will ensure that the rating for that game that was finally gotten was the highest rating. So these are the manipulation I did in this data. So now let's go to the original code and see how it looks. Let's see how we can debug errors easily and check for changes as in our code in relation to the result of our data. So now we are using the sample data, which is called Apple Store Paths. So now I'm in the non-English module. Once you use that one for the testing, don't forget we are checking whether the character is an English character using ASCII. So now let's see the result of the table. We are saying if the number of non-English character is more than 2, then you should delete it. So let's see what we have as our result. We called the function, we passed in the data, we called the function non-English, which is this function, and we passed in that data. So it checks whether it's English or non-English, and we are printing only the track name should be reflected in the print statement. That is, when we print the table, we want to see only the track name column. So let's see what we have. Okay. So here we are. We can see the Chinese app has been deleted. The Chinese app is not here. If we check the original table, we had the Chinese app. So it's not there again. So let's manipulate. Let's tweak the data. So let's increase it to 3. Well, what we're trying to say is that if it is the number of characters that are non-English are more than 3, then delete that. But if it's not more than 3, leave it. So let's run the code and see the result we'll get. Don't forget the Chinese app has 3 characters. Now look at the Chinese app here. It's reflecting here. it has 3 characters. So because it has 3 characters and we say more than 3, that is why it's reflecting in your result. So you can see the code doesn't have error. We just tweaked just a little part of the code to see the result it will produce. That is the advantage of having a sample data. It's easy. It will quickly give you the results you want. So you can easily change different parts of the data to see what it will give you. So when we run with 2, we can see the Chinese app is no more there.
So we've seen how to reduce your data set to a sample size, which you can use to test your code. Testing the code, you can easily see the result because you can see the full table to check, okay, if what you want to delete has been deleted, if what you want to insert has been inserted. It's easy to see the overall table and you know if you are doing the right thing. Now, sometimes when you're writing your code, there can be an error, different type of error. It could be the one that you didn't put the right thing in the code or whatsoever. So in such situation, you will need to debug the error, and with a small data set, it's easy to locate where the error is in your code, debug it in the code, and quickly see the solution in the results that will be displayed. So let's see how to debug error.
Now we are on the highest duplicate module. We want to see how to debug an error. So for example, let's remove this index. This index tells the line of code that starts from point 0. Let's remove this index. Then go to the original place we run our code, which is execute. Now the data frame we are imputing is here, which is the Apple Store part. So let's run the code and see what will happen. You can see the terrible error that was produced just because of that little stuff that we didn't put, the index. Now, how will you debug this? Now, we look at each line. We can see it says line 16 in module, in the execute module. Then it goes further to still explain to us, say line 7 in the dupe except. Don't forget dupe except. Where is it found? It's found in the clean app store module. It's found in the clean app store module. So it said it's on line 7. Then it went further to explain again. It said in the highest rating. It's found in the highest rating. That is a line of code there. Touching it is bringing this up, but I hope you see it. So what you now do is you will now go to the line of code. You now look at the next place that explain better. The final place where the function, a function is called, before we start seeing these other places where we cannot find a function name. This is the last place a function was called. It specified the function. It's here. It said line 35. Line 35. It said in that line 35, it said in unique rate max. So, which is located in the highest duplicate function. So you will go to the highest duplicate function and locate where the error is. You can see the error is telling you index something something something. So let's put back our index line 35. Look at line 35 here. So it's the index that is not here that is causing the error on this line 35. So we put the index back and run the code, and you will see everything will be fine again. You remember to always save your work, and don't forget, always make sure your file and your code are in the same place. So it said program finished, meaning the code is okay. So let's go to the original place where to run our code. Let's run it from the execute module, and you can see everything is fine. The original table that is presented without the Chinese app, then we have our percentage gen and so on. So to wrap up this video, we started from the execute app store, which analyzed the data for the free apps and we saw the data set. We dropped the unnecessary columns. Then we called the clean app store module that removed the duplicates, the non-English, and separated the free from non-free. We determined the percentage of each app gen. We determined the average rating of each app gen, and we printed the results in table format, and we also plotted the table in a bar chart. Please subscribe to this channel, as we'll have more videos to explain more projects which will make you understand how to analyze data with not just your mobile phone alone, also on your laptop, and you become a professional data analyst. Thank you.